Aging well, it's what we all want to do, right? Hi, everybody. I'm Patricia Tribe, and I'm the coordinator for Aging Well Penticton. Aging Well Penticton is a partnership of organizations from the community, interior health, and local government. And together, we are working to enhance the community services in Penticton with the goal of having Penticton be a community where every senior feels connected and a sense of belonging. We are accomplishing this with 5 different pillars, 5 different regions. So number 1, reaching out and supporting people within their homes. And then number 2, promoting an active social life. Number 3, boosting mental wellness in the community. Number 4, enhancing natural supports like your caregivers, your friends, your families, your neighbors. And number 5, collaborating for a friendlier system of care with home and community services. With the multi-year $1.5 million support from Canada's New Horizons for Seniors program, the collaborating partners are already expanding social programs, providing better access to physical recreation, social outings, art programs, intergenerational activities, volunteer opportunities, grief and loss support counseling, and support for family caregivers, and mental health supports. Well, I moved here to take care of my mom, and so I learned a lot from that experience that has been really helpful with Aging Well, Penticton. And so I fell in love with the community when I moved here. Just the support people give each other, the kindness that community organizations show, and the genuine interest in trying to make people's lives better. And so, staying here was a no-brainer. It was a beautiful place to live, great community, and I love seniors. And so it just happened to work out that I got to do this program. So very fortunate. So we have a big team of people, of partners that are working together. So a lot of the people that are the service providers. And so we've been meeting over and over and over again to try and flesh out what's really going to be helpful for seniors. And so when we say reaching out and supporting people in their homes, that's some feedback that we've gotten, that we know that, sometimes it's hard for seniors to go out to access services. And so we need to be able to try and get more services going into people's homes. So that's one example. And enhancing natural supports. So we all have neighbors, or we all have friends or family. Not everybody has all of those things here in Penticton. As a senior, you can be on your own, but we are going to try and enhance the neighbors helping neighbors, and friends helping friends, and family helping seniors. So that's just some examples. New Horizons for Seniors is a federal granting program, and so Penticton is one of 21 communities that got across Canada that got awarded this grant in order to do this. We're very fortunate that we were able to get the funding to start doing this. So it's a multi-year program. So you'll be hearing a lot more about Aging Well as the years unfold. Yeah.
Only since my involvement have I realized how much support there is for seniors in this community. And often people don't realize what support is out there. So this is an opportunity for our community to see that there is support, there is services, and that spreads the whole continuum. And no matter where you are in terms of the continuum, there's support and help out there. there's a lot of expertise. There's a lot of life's experiences that make seniors such a valuable resource. And I know here at the Senior Center, I mean, it is a place where people can come and connect. They can connect by participating in activities or, joining in interesting events. But it's also a place where seniors can volunteer. We have over 160 volunteers when we're up and running, and this building functions because of volunteers. And these volunteers, they give a lot. They bring their interesting backgrounds. They bring their work ethic. They bring their enthusiasm, and they make this place work. So we're very appreciative of our volunteers. So if you're retired and you feel that you're not ready just to play bridge or backgammon or do line dancing, and you still want to contribute, there are many places in this city that welcome volunteers, and we're one of them. We would always have room for another volunteer. I consider this to be a jewel in the crown of Penticton, and perhaps it's not recognized for the gem that it is, and that we need to have, as I say, more recognition and more support from all aspects of the community. So exciting times ahead. We're looking for, not volunteers, but we're also looking for directors. We're looking for, people who see that we are an important a component of the community and would like to steer the ship for the next few years. So if you're interested in being a director or a volunteer, come on by, and we will give you all the information you need to make a decision.
I think seniors are very valuable to the community as a whole. I mean, I'm a senior. I'm 75, and I still put in 12 to 14-hour days working. Most of the day I'm at City Hall, and then I do all my personal business after that. And on weekends I work at the family business. So, and the other thing. I like to, and I've tried it in past years, but we got to get the schools cooperating, where seniors can be mentors to young people. Because seniors, as you all know, we have all that knowledge for all those years that we've been alive, if you want to call it that, and worked in Penticton and lived here and know all the people that are concerned in our community. And so to have students work along with seniors and pick up all that knowledge that the seniors have, I don't think you can get better instruction than that anywhere. Many of the city committees at City Hall, the majority of the folks on them are seniors. They're 55 plus on those committees, and they're the ones that give advice to City Council as to the future direction that we should be going, and that's how much City Hall values seniors. And like I said, with students, we should get them back together again, as we had in the past. And the value is so great that sometimes we forget the knowledge that's out there for us to take advantage of it. There are professionals many professionals in all fields that have moved to Penticton, and they live here. So, if we were to harness all that knowledge within our community, to not only for kids, but other business people, we couldn't ask for anything more than having seniors participating in everything that we do in the community.
So the Seniors Wellness Society is really looking at social isolation. And the pandemic in the last year has shown us really clearly the effects of social isolation, that people who are isolated and disconnected just don't fare as well. They are depressed. It's they tend to be less active. And so for Seniors Wellness, we are really looking at healthy aging the wellness of seniors, and we want to help seniors to be well, to stay well. And so the programs that we provide at Seniors Wellness are all programs that look at connecting seniors to the larger community. We've seen stories of people who've just been able to remain independent because of the programs that are offered there. You talk about volunteers, and that's a huge piece because we have a lot of volunteers. And that's one of the ways, volunteering is one of the ways that really makes it easy for people to connect in the community. And for seniors especially, it's great. And I hear lots from seniors or senior volunteers particularly, who say that it gives them a sense of being useful. They enjoy their connections with the people who they're providing service to. So over the last little while, one of the things that our volunteers have been doing is helping with meal deliveries. And the volunteers tell me that they get as much or maybe more out of that whole experience as the folks who are receiving those services. We also have volunteers who are connecting with folks over the phone, and again, it's people just enjoy that contact, and people enjoy social contact, and so volunteering is a really good way for people to make new connections or to just feel useful. So it's a lovely way to be engaged in the life of the community, and that's really what we're talking about, is being engaged in the community. I would ideally love to see that every single person in this town had at least 2 or 3 people who they knew that they could count on if they had a problem, who they could talk to, where they knew that they could be supported if they needed support. We have a program called Out and About, which is one of our main programs, helping seniors to get out, to get about, to engage in activities in the community, to connect with other seniors. So to do that, we did at one point buy a bus that we could use to take seniors on outings, and that was very successful. But with COVID now, the bus thing is not so much of an item. But we've managed to find other ways to keep seniors connected. So one of the programs that we offer is called Teleconnect, where people can connect on the telephone with other seniors. And we have a couple, there's just a chit chat option. There's a brain teasers option where people do little quizzes and so on. There's another option where people listen to real court cases and look at what they would have decided. Did the judge get it right? Did the judge get it wrong? So that's one of the options. We really want to try to help people connect in a safe way. So one of the things that we do on a weekly basis is we help people to get together to just have a picnic in the park. So people bring their own chair, they bring their own lunch. They can sit in a nicely distanced fashion and get together and just enjoy some chit chat with their neighbors, enjoy being outside. We have a walking group still that meets, and again, all the COVID precautions in place. The walking group has also done some gardening together, and I don't know if that's going to continue. And the last piece, the newest piece that we've added is a Tech Connect program. So we've hired someone, Janet, who's just fabulous with technology. And Janet works with seniors to help them figure out how to use technology to connect with each other or with support programs or whatever it is, because that's more and more becoming the way that people are connected, especially during COVID. But I think in an ongoing way, that's going to be one of the ways that people continue to connect with each other, with the larger community, with the larger world in general. And so Janet works with people on an individual basis to help them figure out how to make that technology work for them. So that's the programming piece of it. We work really closely in partnership with One Sky and in the Better at Home program. And so part of that, We help with answering phones and just giving people a place to find out about what programs are available in the community, what is there that they can connect to. And we work in partnership as well with the Seniors Drop-In Center, because we're all really engaged in the same business of forming those connections and helping people to connect to the greater community. And the bigger piece in all of that is that we work together in trying to create a more caring and supportive community for seniors. So a place where seniors can grow old, remain independent, remain active, and remain healthy. So part of that then is our work with every year with Seniors Week activities, where we give people an opportunity to see what's out there, to experience what's out there, to find out about what resources are there. Because often people don't even know where to start looking for support in remaining independent. Sometimes they aren't even aware what it is that they need or what would be helpful until they hear about it. And so that's part of the bigger picture. So that's one of the things that we do. And just we work together on the age-friendly program that the city was doing, and we'll continue to do that. And that's all a part of the bigger goal, which is to just create a really supportive and age-friendly community.
My name is Anna Marie de Jong, and I work at the Brain Society in Penticton. We are a non-profit community agency, and we provide non-medical community support services to people with brain injuries and their caregivers. So we don't only provide brain injury supports, but we also work with people that experience homelessness and assist them in finding housing and maintaining housing. And we property manage a few buildings here in town for specific populations. So for example, for seniors, for low-income families, and for people experiencing disabilities. So in my role as a brain injury team leader for the brain injury department and stroke navigator, I work with a wonderful team of health professionals and volunteers who are all dedicated to provide the best services to our clients. As you can see, a brain injury can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. So people can sustain a brain injury as a result of a motor vehicle accident, a blow to the head, a fall, but another major type of brain injuries are strokes. So a stroke can happen when the blood flow to the brain is interrupted, for example, due to a blood clot or due to a brain bleed. So the Canadian population is aging, and age is definitely one of the highest risk factors of stroke. And we have better awareness of stroke, and there is improvement in stroke management. So what we now see is that almost 80% of stroke people that experience a stroke survive, but that results in a lot of people living with the effects of stroke. So after hospital discharge, a lot of those people that return back home or to the community need some kind of support or care. So a brain injury can cause all kinds of changes. So for example, physical changes, but we also see changes in thinking. Memory is a big one. People can have difficulty with decision making, understanding information, processing information can be really reduced. Another result that we see is that people can have difficulty with speech. They can no longer express themselves through language or have difficulty with reading or comprehending information. So after stroke or brain injury, what we all often see is that people experience difficulties with mood or mood changes, such as anxiety, depression, the loss of identity. They lose relationships, they sometimes lose employment, and there's a lot of loss. So feelings of depression are definitely not uncommon. So our team is here to help brain injuries and stroke survivors and their caregivers with the adjustment to life, adjusting with all those changes that they're experiencing, and with reintegrating back into the community. So we provide education about stroke and about brain injury, and we discuss healthy lifestyles and how another stroke can be prevented. We also provide educational, social, and life skill-based programs that help people with their recovery. will I be better, or will I be the same again? And that's a question that is really hard to answer, because no brain injury is the same. Everything happens in our brain, right? From speaking to thinking to moving. So every brain injury is different, and the recovery that people are able to make will be different for everybody. So we know, this gets maybe a little bit complex, but the brain is able to make changes, and we always encourage people to continue recovery by engaging in programs, by doing activities that they enjoy doing, social activities, hobbies. That is really important to keep the brain busy, but also find that balance in not overdoing things. Also to give your brain some rest. Some people, shortly after a brain injury or stroke, have no ability to speech, and then 3 months later, they're able to express themselves anymore. And some people, maybe a year after, you won't even know, while other people will have difficulties with speech. But definitely there is recovery possible. I've been with the Brain Injury Society for 6 years now, and I've definitely seen huge progress with people. I think one of the difficulties for people too is sometimes the expectations, and changes are gradual, and we see that people oftentimes make huge improvements, and that the longer after the stroke or the brain injury, that becomes more gradual, and then it's really hard to see that improvement. For us as bystanders, or people who don't see them every day or maybe every week, it's easier to see the progress that people make. And I think it's really important that we keep telling them, like, hey, look back 3 months ago or maybe 6 months ago and see where you've come from and see how well you're doing in those areas. So at the Brain Injury Society, we provide a lot of programs that are specifically tailored to brain injuries and helping people with life skills, helping people to cope or to better understand the changes that they're going through. But we don't do everything ourselves. And we have a wonderful community with great programs and great agencies. So we work well with the hospital, who oftentimes refers people to us. And then we help people by informing them about other programs that are available. We can assist them and go and explore some other programs, such as the community center or the senior center, until people have gained that confidence and can move on with that process of recovery independently. There are a lot of agencies and programs in town, and we help people explore what fits best their unique goals and individual goals, and help getting them connected. Because it's really hard sometimes navigating all the programs that are out there, finding the right people to connect with. So we do that advocacy and that active connecting, so people can access other resources as well. Our group programs are a great opportunity for people to meet with other people that have gone through the same process, and to feel that sense of belonging that sometimes is missing. Good to know is that all our programs are free of charge, and a referral can be made by a health professional, a community agency, but people can also self-refer.
One Sky is a large multi-service agency that provides services from basically one end of the life spectrum to the other. So my role is within the senior services team. So what we do in our office, our main core program is a partnership between Seniors Wellness Society and One Sky. So we are co-located. We're truly interconnected in our office. And we came together in 2013 when we first developed the Better at Home program, and that is really our core service. We provide, within the Better at Home program, we provide non-medical supports for seniors to help them maintain their independence in their home. And those services include things like transportation to appointments, friendly visiting, light housekeeping, light yard work, simple home repairs, grocery shopping, and snow shoveling. And we provide those services with a combination of paid staff, contractors, and volunteers. And the individuals who are receiving the services pay the fees are based on income, based on household income on a sliding scale. So in that way, people who cannot afford to pay full market rate for some of the services are still able to get the help they need. And seniors on the other end of the scale who can afford to pay can be part of the solution in helping us build the program so we're not totally reliant on government funding. There are about 80 plus Better at Home programs across the province in different sites. They are funded by the Ministry of Health and managed by the United Way Healthy Aging. So that's our core service. And over the years, we've really interacted with thousands of seniors and getting an idea of what their needs are and also looking at ways to fill those needs, whether it's through that program or other ways. And we've sort of grown those programs over the years based on what the information that people say that they need help with. So we've kind of created basically a one-stop sort of hub for information, for whether it's just, pointing people in the right direction or actually providing assistance with services, with help to access government services or health services, completing forms, those kinds of things. When the pandemic hit, we had to shift our services that we were providing, like the rest of the world. And through some additional funding through the United Way, we were able to shift things to keep people safe and yet connected to their community. So we started to offer free grocery shopping and delivery, free prescription pickup, although most drugstores here will do that. We partnered again with the Seniors Drop-In Center to develop the Meals to Go program, and so that's been extremely popular. We're delivering 220 meals a week, and that represents 220 seniors because there's such a demand. We can only provide one a week so that we can reach more people. So the Seniors Drop-In chef and volunteers, they prepare the meals, and our volunteers come and deliver the meals. And so that's been a great program. We shifted our friendly visiting from in-person to on the phone, and ultimately increased the number of people that we were reaching. We shifted our quarterly newsletter to a monthly newsletter, and so that is a way to keep people more informed, particularly those people who aren't computer savvy. So we mail out a number of newsletters and also email. There seems to be more and more email than there used to be a few years ago, which is a necessity, of course. We also have a caregiver support program. So whether those caregivers are spouses or family members or friends or neighbors, caregivers are such a crucial part of keeping people well at home, increasing that quality of life. And so we are offering support to help them do that complex job a little bit better. We hear from people all the time how much those small things can make such a big difference in people's lives. If we're able to pop over to the store and pick up a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread, we take it for granted that it's a simple thing to do. But if you have no transportation, or getting out to a doctor's appointment, or you know, if you're able-bodied, it's no big deal to vacuum and clean up or to, you know, mow your lawn. But when those things start to decline, it's a small way to help people maintain where they live, just to help them, again, with those small tasks that help them still feel like they're doing okay. So in Penticton, there's so many people who come here to retire. And over the years, we've talked to many, many people who have come here with their spouse, then lose one of the, you know, they lose their spouse and they haven't created maybe a network of, especially if they've been in a caregiver role. So they may not have their family members nearby. And of course, during this time, even if those family members would come and visit once or twice a year, or hopefully more often than that, they haven't been able to do that. So, you know, we have to create some of that. It's creating caring neighborhoods and you know, ways to connect people, volunteers. You know, as we've talked about, volunteering is a way to make a difference in your community and make a difference in your own life by that connection. We have some volunteers who will introduce their children to that world of volunteering and service, and that's such a beautiful thing, because there's many children who don't have access to grandparents. They don't have older individuals in their lives. And so, yeah, we just do what we can to make those good connections. We're also part of the Aging Well Penticton. One Sky is the backbone agency for that particular network of agencies. So again, looking at ways to partner, to collaborate, so that often over the years, nonprofit agencies have been put in competitive environments for minimal funding for short periods of time, and that's really counterproductive in building a really supportive community. So how do we move that kind of model to a more collaborative way? Because if the funding wasn't an issue, we'd find better ways to work together. And so we're doing that, and we're doing that in ways where we can deliver more services in a more seamless way, and not make it quite so confusing. When we think of the meaning of Penticton as a place to stay forever, I think that fits really well with how do we support people to age well in this place that they've chosen as home.
So the Alzheimer's Society works with anybody that has a dementia. So it's not just Alzheimer's, it's anybody with that is experiencing a dementia or think they might have a dementia. So we support persons living with dementia and also their families or caregivers or whoever is kind of connected to them. And we provide support and education. So we have support groups in various communities. Of course, with COVID, we're doing them online, but prior and hopefully post-COVID, we have them in communities. We have education sessions, so I do lots of education. So education can be, start ones would be just getting to know what dementia is, or a healthy brain, all the way to considering putting somebody into long-term care or dealing with grief and guilt around, someone, the whole process of the dementia journey. So a wide gamut of educations. We have a program called Minds in Motion. So Pre-COVID, we were doing it at the community center here in Penticton, and that is social for people in the early stages with a partner. They come into the program and we have 45 minutes of fitness with a fitness instructor, because we know that being healthy is really important, and we know that movement can really help engage a person with dementia to stay healthier. And then we have 45 minutes of mental stimulus and social interaction. So, which is really quite common for people just to really like to be together with other people that are experiencing the same thing. So currently now with COVID, we're doing it online. So we have an online Minds in Motion program. And so after COVID gone through, hopefully we'll have an in-person and an online to meet the needs of everybody across the province. We also do what's called a First Link program. So healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, social workers, occupational therapists, they can refer somebody. So you go in and you say your wife, you think that she might have dementia, and you're kind of trying to figure out what you're going to do. The healthcare provider will say, hey, do you mind if I refer you to the society? So we reach out because we know somebody that gets a diagnosis of a dementia might take a year to seek out our services, if at all. And so that's a long time where they're missing out on education, the opportunity to kind of prepare for the future and stuff like that. So so we have this First Link program where we're connecting in with healthcare professionals to refer people. And then we call them, at 3 months, 6 months, and then kind of every 6 months. They can call us anytime, but we're reaching out to them just to see how they're doing, if they've got questions or concerns, and to know that they have support. Common thing often on phones is like, I don't have anything, but I'm so happy that you're connecting with me and I feel supported. Or you have, you called just at the right time, and you might spend a half an hour talking to them. Or it could be a day where, we're doing good. Life is going well. We're, thanks for that education, and we're doing better. When I experience people that seek out our help, it changes their lives. And I often describe it, we see somebody with a broken hand, and we'll say, here, can I help do this? I know you can't do that. When we see somebody with a broken mind, and really that's what's happening with dementia is a broken mind, we don't see that. We see the person that we've always seen, so we have expectations of them. And so we as a caregiver or a family member become very frustrated or we struggle because we don't see the damage. And so that person with dementia can't tell you because they're experiencing that. And so I think it's so important we can make the lives of the person living with dementia, the family members, just that much better. We can, support and you can understand the disease better. There's skills, there's methods, right? We're not innate caregivers, a lot of us, and so sometimes we have to learn. It's and sometimes it's unknown things. The lights are off, and so they're having trouble seeing what's going on, or they've forgotten something, and so they're quite anxious about it. But we're like, well, I just told you. Well, I don't remember, right? My short-term memory isn't there. It's not there, right? And people will often say that, and I think that's a struggle for them. Well, I just wanted to tell, I want them to, and it's like, well, no, you as a person that's caring and supporting, you need to learn what you need to do, not what you expect them to do, because they don't have that capacity. You can't expect somebody with a broken hand to write a letter. You can't expect somebody with dementia to remember something potentially. So I think it's just it just improves the quality of life for everybody if they've got some education and understanding and feel supported. We know that age is the biggest factor, right? So as you get older, your chances of getting a dementia gets higher. But there are lots of people in this community that are younger. I live in Summerland, and I know some folks out there, and they're in their 50s. So dementia can start at an early age. Young onset Alzheimer's or frontal temporal dementia can start earlier. And so, and for a lot of those people, there's lots. They're figuring out about their jobs, and again, people have higher expectations because they don't expect that somebody will. So no, there are people young in their 50s and 60s, but yes, as you get older, that chance of developing a dementia becomes higher. What we're going to do with the Aging Well Penticton is we're trying to seek to reduce social isolation for people. And so a person with dementia, living with dementia, can often feel very isolated because, the communication networks and stuff like that. And so, they go to a store and they, people kind of rush them along or whatever. And so they kind of draw back, or their communication skills aren't really well. And so we oh, he doesn't know what he's saying, so I back off. Or, families will often say, oh, yeah, he used to golf, but then, he started just not understanding things. And so his friends didn't ask him anymore because they weren't comfortable or whatever. So we're going to do a Philosopher's Cafe and just talk about how our community, are we dementia friendly? Can we be more dementia friendly? And what does that mean? And so I've talked a lot about caregivers and the person living with dementia, but the community is also really important. If we don't understand the disease, we're afraid, we back off, we don't support. And so people lose out. They lose out on their friends, on those things that they can do, and they might not be able to do them as well as they used to, but they still can do them. And so if we can support them, then that helps them, right? So I think that hopefully people will join us for the Philosopher's Cafe. That's the Wednesday night, the 2nd of June. And we hope to then have a kind of a series of different ones, and not necessarily all about dementia, but just about how we can become a community that really supports people and reduces that isolation that, a lot of people as they get older start to experience, and even young people too. But, our focus on Seniors Week is seniors, of course. Locally, if you want to talk to me, my number is 250-493-8182. Or if you're, you see this and you're in Oliver or Soyuz or Princeton, the number is 1-888-318-1122. And we also have a dementia, which I forgot to mention earlier, is a dementia helpline. So it runs Monday to Friday from 9 to 8 in English. So you can call into that number, and if you've got a pressing question, or you just, where do I get started? We have the gamut to where do I get started to I'm really having trouble, or, I want to register for something. So that number is 1-800-936-6033. When you see a person living with dementia that comes to a Minds in Motion program, and it's they lighten up, they feel comfortable, they feel included, and you can see their care person hug and connect with another person that's also caring with somebody living with dementia. They have unspoken words. You don't have to explain everything. They feel comfortable. Or you're in an education session and somebody comes to a couple of them, and you see they first come and they're like, oh, I'm struggling, and then they learn something, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I tried that, that thing that we talked about, or Mary talked about in the meeting, and it was awesome. All of a sudden their experience changes. It's a hard journey, but all of a sudden it's a little easier, right? They're not battling. They're able to think about things. They can step back and go, oh, okay, if I do it this way, this might improve things. So all of a sudden everybody's life's a little bit better. Or seeing people in support groups just be able to vent, right? To be able to say what's going on, because often people around them don't understand that ambiguous loss, that they have the person there, but they're losing them. And that's hard, and that's years. That's not, that's years of seeing somebody losing them along the way. And so I think just being able to support people that way is wonderful, right? Because it impacts us, right? When we, caregivers get very impacted and their health deteriorates if they don't have those supports or that education, right? And we want to keep everybody in our community healthy and happy and doing the best they can with what they've got.
So through our Arts Matter programming, we offer a wide range of opportunities, from arts and crafts workshops to exhibitions. We have musical and dramatic performances, as well as artist talks, and of course the annual Arts Rising Festival, and then different types of events that we partner with throughout the year. So when we're able to meet in person, we host weekly and monthly art meetups that are around different types of creative interests. So it could be anything from knitting or needle felting, painting, and community members get together and share their creativity and have a really good time connecting and making friends. With the COVID pandemic, we moved the majority of our programming online, and this includes workshops, downloads, exhibitions, performances. You can find all of those on our website. We were very aware that some people experience barriers to technology of different kinds, so we also made sure to include take and make art packs that would include all the different types of art supplies, as well as printed instructions that you would need for a different type of creative project. You're never too old to start a creative practice. Creativity is part of your DNA. It's built into who we are as people. And being creative is something that's good for you at any age, and in fact should be encouraged. Whether it's experimentation and creative play, trying something new, it's all good for cognitive functions, for self-esteem, and then also for your community connection as well too. Because when you're doing these new things, you're meeting people. I know we can't be out and about right now, but when we can be, you are. And then a lot of people are even meeting in virtual spaces too, and getting a whole new group of connections into their life that they might not have had before through different types of art practices. So we were very honored to be invited into the Aging Well Penticton project last year in 2020. We had already sent out, I think it was about 500 or so art packs out into the community as a response to the COVID pandemic and people who were sheltering in place at home, especially our most vulnerable community members, of which some seniors are a part of. And the Aging Well Penticton folks had seen that, and then some of the pivoting work that we'd been doing with our online programming, and invited us to come on board for the project. And it was so cool because we'd already had quite a great cohort of seniors that had interacted with our organization, whether it was through program participation or volunteerism, and also serving as board members, and of course being artists that interact with us. So it was really great to be able to have a more focused aspect of our programming specifically for seniors. And so already that's resulted in quite a few more events that we've had, such as Dawn Wade and Sax Among Friends doing performances with us, the Organic Humans as well, that's another band composed of seniors, Alice Strohmeyer, who leads the Artsy Aging with Alice program, which is really cool. She does weekly kind of like virtual art meetups through a Facebook group, and we're also looking at doing more with that as well too, through online videos and then also downloadable PDFs as well. So yeah, so it's really been quite cool, and we're very excited to see how far it can go and just involving as many seniors as possible. And again, I think it's also breaking through that that myth of like, oh, I can't be creative, I don't have any kind of like artistic talent and that type of thing, and really focusing more on the process of creativity as opposed to being so tied to the outcome of the creativity. Because actually, I mean, just doing art and making art of any kind, like you don't need to have an innate or basic kind of skill set. Everything can be learned. I mean, if you want to learn how to paint like, one of the greats, there's lots of classes and opportunities and, and time to get in and do something like that. But, if you just want to get in and have some fun and play around, that's really at the heart of what it's all about. So the art boxes are intended for folks that may have barriers to creating. And so whatever that barrier is, that's going to be something that's self-defined. And then if you're wanting to get one, you'd contact myself or Jess at the Penticton Arts Council office, and then we could arrange to get that to you. Now, some of the art boxes will already be delivered through our community partnerships like Aging Well Penticton, or through the Artsy Aging with Alice project, or through the Arts Matter program as well too. And we actually do have a standing distribution list of quite a wide variety of social service providers in town that we're now interacting with on a regular basis to ensure that the people that they're serving are being able to access art and art supplies.
Well, we all have mental health, and it's on a spectrum. So some days we are not feeling well and we're feeling low and depressed, and other days we're feeling great. So everyone in society has mental health, and it's similar to physical health, where if you're struggling and you need help, talk to somebody. It's just like if you have a broken arm, you're going to go to the doctor. If you're struggling and not feeling well with your mental health, reach out and talk to somebody, whether it's a friend, a doctor, a colleague, anybody. Just let somebody know, because you need to speak about it in order to get help and get connected with resources. Folks are feeling really lonely and isolated right now, especially seniors in our community. So we have some fantastic resources at CMHA. There is a program called Thrive Learning Center. It's free to the public. It's free to anyone. You don't have to have a mental illness. And it's on Zoom every Tuesday at 2:30. We cover topics such as how to improve your sleep, how to improve your mood immediately, exercise, how important exercise is for folks. And it's completely free. And I would also suggest there's a program called Bounce Back, and that is also free through CMHA, and you can check it out at bouncebackbc.ca. You can be connected to a person on the other end of the telephone or through Zoom, and it can be around your schedule. So it's very flexible timing. And those programs are all free through Canadian Mental Health Association. Another program that we have is we have a mental health advocate on staff, and that is a program for anyone that might be struggling with their mental health, and they can give them a call, 778-476-5411, and somebody will phone you back. But if you need somebody to advocate for you, whether it be applying for disability or you just need you have a tenant dispute, something like that, our mental health advocate is there to help anyone. You don't have to have a diagnosed mental illness, but it's there free of charge. We have a full meals program at Canadian Mental Health Association 7 days a week, and we've seen folks that have been struggling with nutrition and eating, and so they've joined in with the meals program, and it has improved their mental health. So people need a house, they need nutrition in order to get better. So once they have those two things secured, then they can work on their recovery with their mental health. In one of our courses called Living Life to the Full, we teach people how to break down your problems. So if you're just feeling low and you don't want to get out of the house, the course teaches you how to take it step by step. So maybe the first day you just put your shoes on and walk to the mailbox. And then the next day you go a little bit further and a little bit further. And then you're outside, you're breaking down the problem into small, manageable pieces. And that gives folks hope, and it gives them a plan and how to start getting out of the house and starting to feel better. So that's one of the things that we teach. We also really talk about nutrition a lot at CMHA and the importance of having a really colorful plate. So having some green leafy vegetables and maybe some, proteins and just having a well-balanced diet can really improve your mood. And exercise is just so good for people. Even a walk for 5 minutes, it changes your whole chemistry in your body. It makes you feel a lot better. So that's one way to overcome feeling a little bit low. You can do it from your own home. Maybe call a friend that you haven't talked to in 10 or 15 years. Start back with a hobby that you really enjoyed. So maybe you love singing. Start singing in the shower. Maybe you love reading. Go to the library, grab some new books. Think of a hobby that you enjoyed in the past and try to incorporate that into your life. Try to connect with others as much as you can, even though we can't come together in person. Maybe phoning people, meeting outside. The weather's getting better, so if you can meet at a park or just go for a walk on the KVR Trail. There's so many places that we can go outside right now, and it's safe. So that I would suggest those things for sure. We do have volunteers that come into CMHA, and they mostly work in the kitchen. When we're back open, we encourage volunteers. We've had people running like a woodworking group, a walking group. We did Tai Chi, different programs like that. So if anybody has some skills, such as teaching skills, we even had a drama therapy group, which was a really big hit. I would encourage anybody that would like to volunteer to talk to us. So when you see a client come through the doors and they're really struggling, they may be feeling depressed or anxious, and then they connect with services. And it maybe not just with CMHA, but we refer to other agencies. And you see them in their recovery, and they start to open up and they start to talk to people when they feel more comfortable. And you can see a real improvement in their mood. It's really, really nice to see. Because we all have mental health, and we all struggle from time to time. And again, I would encourage you to reach out. The crisis line is available 24/7. And if you're, even if you're just feeling a little down, there's somebody on the other end of the phone that will listen to you. So it's a free service, and if the lines are busy, they will connect you to another crisis center in the province. They all work as one. So like I say, if you're struggling, reach out and talk to somebody. So our website is sos.cmha.bc.ca, and there's lots of great tips on how to improve your mental health on that website.
My name is Sam Lucier. I'm a grief counselor, and I'm with South Okanagan Loss Society, which the acronym is SOLS. So we founded that society, a group of us, in 2017. We got together thinking after, it was about a year after the Bereavement Resource Center closed, that we thought that we would like to develop a community-based agency that could respond to the needs of those in the community who are grieving. So we have a group of volunteers who are trained by a psychologist, retired psychologist Max Uleman, and they are available to just do phone check-ins with people. They're professionally trained, and we know a lot of people are very isolated and don't have people dropping in on them in the way that they might have before COVID. And so the telephone grief support is one of the services we offer. We have a seniors living with loss group that meets at the Lear House on Monday mornings at 10. People need to register for that group because we're limited in how much time, how many people we could have in the room. But that's a great little group. On Wednesday evenings, myself and Dorothy Point and I actually facilitate the seniors living with loss and the Wednesday night grief group, the Zoom group on conversations on grief and loss. And so you need to contact SOLS in order to register for that. So they'll do an intake. Bernadette will do an intake and then refer you to the group if that's what you'd like to do. And I'll add you to the list and you'll get the invite on a weekly basis. And then we provide individual counseling for people, mostly with complicated grief. But complicated grief can be like a traumatic loss. And lately there's a lot of traumatic loss in the community between overdose and suicide. People experiencing loss during COVID has been very traumatic and devastating. We strongly depend on financial support, in the form of personal donations from community members, and we are a registered charity, so tax receipts are available so that we could provide programs so that people don't have to grieve alone. We know that many people retire here and don't have the supports that they would have maybe had in their own communities, and they don't necessarily have family in the area, particularly seniors, and so we have a real particular interest in helping seniors out. If you want to learn more about us, you can visit our website, solspenticton.com. So that's SOLS Penticton.com.
I hope you go to our website, agingwellpenticton.ca, and learn more. And together, let's make Penticton a community where every senior feels connected and a sense of belonging. Thanks, and take care.